Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. So yes, the title of this video implies exactly that this was a land of the giants which we effectively took over after the giants disappeared from power. And I'm gonna show you guys a number of very interesting pictures, and by the end of this video I am pretty sure that I will open your eyes, even if partially. First and foremost, lots of the nobility shirts, or I would say dresses, as you can see here, were actually not made for these people. As you can see, this you can clearly tell that this is one piece. This is effectively one shirt, okay, and the sleeves are super long, were for a giant. This is a one-piece sleeve, a one-piece shirt, which would go all the way down to effectively where the start of the pants would start, right? The pants or the trousers. So it would be from here, the trousers would go down. So the giant wearing these clothes would be quite massive. Same here, as you can see here, they actually cut into this sleeve specifically so then they could create their own sleeves, but the actual original sleeve is still there. It's quite obvious, right? This doesn't make any sense. So this again was a one waistcoat effectively up to the waist, and then from the waist downwards you would have the trousers or the pants, and then effectively you would have the complete suit or the complete clothing. So this was not made for normal people. It's pretty obvious. I mean, you can tell straight away that this is just not normal. All right, next one, guys. Look at this. Let's go back to the previous one. I mean, another example, I mean, this is just crazy. Like, a person would need to be this tall, this big, which is effectively more than double the size of a normal human being, in order for them to be able to see from St. Paul's Cathedral stone gallery. That's right. So just imagine how big some people were back then, so they could effectively actually see across the gallery. All right, just incredible, right? Next one. Ancient or old boots, as you can see here, which were made for people who are very, very big in size. I mean, this is from a giant, which most likely is what, 10 meters tall? Wouldn't be surprised, guys. Also in Siberia, a bathtub, as you can see here, which was made for a giant in Siberia. Now, this is not a normal bathtub because a normal human being would not ask for this in the first place. Transporting it in Siberia would be very difficult because these materials are hard to obtain. And lastly, it would be quite a massive health hazard. I mean, if you get stuck in there, you could easily drown. So this was made for a giant, which of course was big enough to use it as their own special bathtub. Again, quite shocking, isn't it? I mean, this shows perfectly what we're talking about, that there's so much proof of the ancient giants. Even more smaller giants. There's museums in Russia which show effectively how some of these giants were not all of them 10 meters or 20 meters tall, but some of them were a bit smaller, like maybe 6 meters, 5 meters, but still, they were just absolutely gigantic. I mean, the 5-meter giant is still freaking scary, as you can imagine, right? Even the bell towers, like so many bell towers were installed back in the day, and of course these bell towers were installed by people which were quite massive in size. So yeah, makes you think. Same as musical instruments. We have musical instruments which again don't make any sense. Why would you make such a big musical instrument? This is by the way a bit more modern, because of course giants still existed even in the late 19th century, some of them at least, right? And of course the question is, why would you make this massive instrument? Like, it just doesn't make any sense, and it doesn't have any practical purpose. You're literally just throwing away money. You're wasting money like crazy. Another image. This is quite a massive Chinese warrior sword. Now, I'm very sorry, but this is just not physically effective. The sword is at the size of a person. Waving the sword is super heavy, although he tries to make it as light. It's obviously not light. And look at this. I mean, a normal hand would kind of like fit this part area here. A small human hand only can grab it by here. So effectively you have all this area. You have this big I would say like string here, and you have the blade is just absolutely massive. It's super long, super heavy, so only an actual giant would be able to use it appropriately and actually make use of it, because otherwise a human being, they would be so slow with this weapon, and they would get killed at least 10 times over before actually doing a single strike, because it would be heavy and it would be really hard to control. Again, it just doesn't make any sense. Another one. Why would they make cutlery so massive? Again, once more, it just doesn't make any sense. You would not make any cutlery which is this big for fun, for just, for whatever reason, especially because back in the day, the economy was not that powerful, was not that strong. So making this was a huge amount of resource, unless, of course, they were made for a specific giant, a person which was quite big and needed these instruments to be able to eat like a normal person or like a normal giant without struggling with, of course, very tiny tools. So yeah, quite crazy, right? And that's it, guys, for this video. Hopefully you saw the light at the end of the tunnel, which is quite clear and obvious from my point of view at least, is that something here doesn't make any sense. Something here is quite clear that they are hiding from us very important information, very crucial information about the giants of the past. And this information is clearly, you can clearly see it in architecture, you can clearly see it in objects, you can clearly see it in clothing, alright, in materials and instruments. You can see it across the board in many areas of the world, and also in creations across multiple countries, not just Siberia, not just Russia, not just Europe, not just America. It is literally everywhere. So guys, remember that the truth is out there, and the truth is quite shocking, which is the following. The giants have roamed the earth, and we just literally are here because we got lucky, because the original giants died off, because otherwise we will still be their slaves. Now, what happened to the giants? Who eliminated them? Who got rid of them? There's multiple theories. The universal flood is just one example of one of the theories. Was what happened because they were so big, it was really hard for them to survive, and most of them got killed off in the universal flood, which was happened with Noah, and effectively, which is recorded across different countries. Different cultures have their own version of this universal flood, effectively, which is one hint of what could have happened. Another one is that just naturally the DNA of the giants just slowly faded away, because of course they were descendants of the Nephilim, and there were not that many of them anyway. So as hundreds of years gone by, that DNA kind of got fragmented more and more until effectively the original DNA of the giants was completely lost. And that's it, lost in time, lost in history. So guys, that's it for today's video. As always, make sure to subscribe to the channel, leave a like because it does support this channel massively, and see you in the next upload.